What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel, check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on some comments that were recently made by Ron Harper, ex teammate of Michael Jordan. Ron Harper had, he did an interview with some news publication. I don't recall the news publications, but the question of the topic of Michael Jordan came up, and the GOAT debate between Michael Jordan and LeBron James. And so Ron Harper basically said in a nutshell that Michael Jordan he don't really care about that debate. He never, he never really involved himself in the debate. And so that got me to thinking, right? And I think with when Michael Jordan, I don't think he really ever saw LeBron James as a threat. When you see Michael LeBron James early in his career, and Michael Jordan probably noticed some things about LeBron James' game, not just his game, but his drive and his passion for his passion for the game, and the way that he probably he noticed that the way LeBron played for the game, that LeBron James was not going to be a threat to Michael Jordan's legacy. Right. So even if you watch, even though LeBron James was very good and he basically carried the Cleveland Cavaliers while he was there, it was something different between LeBron. When you think about LeBron James early in his career and you think about Kobe, which I think Kobe actually was a bigger threat to Michael Jordan's like legacy, not his legacy, but that GOAT conversation. Like you could have really made a better case with Kobe versus Jordan than you can LeBron versus Jordan. Right. And I just really don't get to the impression that Mike was even phased by LeBron James. LeBron James, even early in his career, you never seen LeBron James like do anything to get better. You seen him uh shrink in big moments and stuff like that. So that really didn't phase Mike. Like LeBron James play on the court really didn't phase Mike. Like I said, he lived through the Kobe. He endured that Kobe Bryant era, and if Kobe couldn't catch him and surpass him, then LeBron definitely wouldn't have been able to do it. And Michael Jordan also understood that he had other things working in his favor. Right. He's a fan favorite. That's number one. He sells a lot of merchandise for Nike. He helped he helped the team or the league grow internationally. And some of those opportunities, because Mike had done it before Kobe and he done it before LeBron, like those opportunities were no longer on in play for those guys who came after Michael Jordan, because there's they could maintain what Mike did as far as like maintaining the popularity of the league, but they couldn't grow it anymore because the league was already had reached, in my opinion, had reached its max with you know with how much they grew internationally. So there was no opportunity for LeBron James to help to grow, to grow the game and take it to a whole nother level, because the game had already, it's worldwide. You're not going to take it any higher than worldwide. You're not going to be, he wouldn't have that impact that Mike had, that popularity that Mike had. Mike was like a rock star, and I think like the time that Mike came along played a big part in his success too. So Mike probably knew that, LeBron James wouldn't be able to compete with that. If Kobe couldn't catch him, like I said, and compete with that, LeBron James wouldn't be able to do it. Then you see, then you see like the fall off in the league and stuff like that. When it came to ratings went down, LeBron just never really stood a chance. I don't think Mike was even threatened. But what probably did get Mike attention is when LeBron just came out and said that he was the GOAT. Like that, when he won that championship, I think it was in 2016, when he won that championship in 16, that's what made LeBron. He said that's what made him the GOAT. That's when I knew I was a GOAT, LeBron said. And again, he probably didn't get a lot of attention from Mike, but I just, like, you don't hear people who are really in that GOAT conversation or the greatest ever. You don't hear them give themselves that title. Only Muhammad Ali is the only person I know that ever said that he was the greatest. I don't know if Dion ever said that. I know Dion was a very vocal guy and all that stuff, but I don't know, man. I just don't think and then when you got Michael Jordan coming back to NBC this year, so everybody's anticipating Mike's comeback because they want to know what is Mike going to, like what is that going to be like with Mike actually on TV talking about basketball while LeBron James is playing. That right there is going to be must see TV for a lot of people. And I think that I think that LeBron James, you know, I don't know. I think LeBron going to be out of the league within the next 1 or 2 years. I think this is his last year in LA. I think the Lakers are ready to move on from LeBron James, and I don't really see LeBron James going to a team that would be able to win a ring because I don't see like another young superstar willing to put up with LeBron James and stuff. I really don't see that. There's been talk about LeBron James maybe going to Golden State, but who knows? And then you got to take into effect like Golden State, they're an older team. You got Steph Curry that's getting up in age. Draymond Green is getting up in age. You also have Jimmy Butler who is up in age. So, yeah, I doubt that LeBron James wins another ring. You know, I just think that, and even if he did, let's just say for the sake of argument that LeBron James won another ring, that would give him five, right? And then so he would have five rings, most likely with like what you got, two in Miami, one in Cleveland, and you have one in LA. So that's three, maybe four different franchises that he could have five rings with four different franchises. I don't know. I don't think that that's a good look. Some people might say that, well, he was able to do something that nobody else did, like take multiple franchises to championships, but that still don't really boost him, in my opinion, in that GOAT conversation. It just don't. It don't, man. So that's my take on it. Yeah, I don't think that LeBron James or Mike felt like LeBron James was ever a threat to that GOAT, to take over that GOAT mantle. I do think though, in my opinion, I think Mike might think he's the GOAT. I just don't think that Mike is Mike is wiser. He's a lot more intelligent to publicly say something like that. But I do think that Mike Jordan probably think he's the GOAT. And rightfully so. I appreciate the fact that Mike Jordan is not saying that publicly. Because when you say something like that, you get pushback. You get a lot of pushback, and no need, no need to say that. Just allow your fans to do that. Allow your play on the court to do that, and that's been his plan. That's been the way he's done it throughout his career. He's just allowed his play on the court to do that. He said that he wanted to have more rings than Magic and Bird, and he did it. He got 6 rings. He beat them in the ring. But so yeah, this dude, LeBron James, no threat to Mike. Ron Harper just basically said, like he said, Mike never really even thinks about that GOAT conversation. And I think moving forward though, a lot of players or anybody who comes up behind LeBron James will think twice about, like calling themselves the GOAT because of all the pushback that LeBron got for doing that. It's just really it's not worth it. You're gonna get a lot of pushback. Um, and if you're not even close or in a conversation, it wouldn't even make any sense for you even to throw yourself out there like that because I think you do yourself a disservice. And with that being said, man, I'm out of here. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to leave a comment, and I will check you all out in the next episode. Peace.